everybody. Welcome back to SparkofVintage. I'm Cindy. I am the owner and head treasure hunter here at SparkofVintage, and we are glad that you found us. If you're returning, welcome back. This week, we're going to have a great time using just basic thrift store finds, maybe things that you have around the house, or maybe that might be already in your stash if you're a crafter, to do just cute little one-off Halloween makes. So I have some simple little trinkets I found at the thrift store, a few little paints that I've had in my stash, and we're just going to make some cute little projects. So stick around. These are easy to do, fun to do with your family and the kids, and let's see what we can create. I found this little brass candelabra in the bottom of a bin, and it looks like it probably belonged to a dollhouse. So don't count out little toy areas in order to find creepy things for Halloween. I had these little candles from Tim Holtz's Halloween collection, so I just attached them with heavy body gel to the candelabra, and I thought they made a super perfect fit together. I found this kitty cat figurine at my local thrift store. She didn't have any special markings, and I wasn't hesitating to give her a bit of a makeover. I used Fusion Mineral Paint in coal black in order to give her a couple of layers of paint, and then made her eyes a little iridescent with some metallic wax from Finnabar. And then in order to give a little bit of definition to the eyes, I used the tip of my X-Acto knife and just a little bit of touch of paint to give those eyes just a little bit of texture. This little sign I found in the bins a couple of years ago, and it's been in my stash, just not knowing what to do with it. But then I thought it would make a great vignette background. So using cast iron from Fusion Mineral Paint, I painted over the door, just took a couple of coats, and I wanted to give it a little bit of more of a metallic look than a cartoonish look. I also took some pieces from Tim Holtz's metals adornments collections, as well as the door handle off of the door, and just splashed them with some metallic paint and different alcohol inks in order to give them some texture. Then I took my Tim Holtz woodblock stamp and a little bit of sepia archival ink in order to give the door a little bit of wood texture and some definition. That way the door wouldn't look flat, and yet it wouldn't dominate the color of the metallic paint either. I stamped a spooky little secret message on the back of the door, and then attached the metal pieces with the heavy body gel from Prima Marketing Finnabar. And you can see where those purples and greens really stand out. And there it is, Casket Company. So whoever's knocking on the door does not know what waits behind them. All in all, I think it came out really great, and I love the different textures and variations of the piece. This bird figurine I also found at my local thrift store. And I thought it was just a little too white for me. And I thought with a little bit of Martha Stewart's Beetle Black paint, we could turn this into a fancy raven. Once I got the shiny black coat on the bird, I went ahead and used Finnabar's metallic bronze coin in order to give the crown a little bit of a touch up. I felt like the crown was a little too yellow and dull, and I wanted to give it a really super sparkle and a brilliancy since the bird was already so shiny. Just a little bit of wax in purple and violet and a little bit of additional silver, and there it is, our spooky bird with our candelabra on our vignette door. I found these poison bottles in a leftover sale at Michael's last year. You can find these all year long in the bins or in your local thrift store. I took off some of the tacky labels that were already on there and just applied my own resin pieces and waxed them and painted them. The top of the bottle, I just dabbed with a little bit of Tim Holtz alcohol ink to just take out some of that brightness of the cover and help it match the bottle a little bit more. I was super happy with this kind of mercury glass look. These other two bottles were from Ashland, which is the Michaels brand, but they're flash colored, meaning the glass isn't colored, it's just painted over. So a little bit of heavy body gesso and a couple of layers of paint of my own, and it was really easy to transform these bottles into something pretty cool for the evening. I used some of my own metallic paints, some ephemera from Tim Holtz in order to make the poison bottles, the labels, so that you could see the muriatic acid and the arsenic on the bottles. And overall, just really happy. You could just have a field day and make those look like anything you wanted. Now, my crystal ball is actually a lamp, like a ceiling light. And I found this in the bins and just decided to tear out the wiring. I'm not going to plug it in anywhere. I'm not going to put a candle in it. I'm going to use a little tiny light ball that I'll show you in just a moment, and that it makes it really flexible. I put a little bit of heavy gesso in black on the metal so that my second coat of paint could apply a little bit easier. The gesso just takes all of that slickness off on pieces that don't normally grab paint really well. And I used again just the coal black from Fusion Mineral Paint to give it a nice deep black cover. And then I used Dragonfly Glaze. Now, Dragonfly Glaze you can get at Michael's Crafts and works fantastic with black. There's all different color spectrums. I chose the one that had a little bit of the violet and blue with it because I wanted it to be the base of my crystal ball. Once my paint dried, I went ahead and applied some of the gilded transfers from IOD to the base of my crystal ball. I wanted it to look like my palm reader or my gypsy fortune teller had been all over the world and had little incantations and spells all over the base of the crystal ball. These transfers are really easy to use. You just have to be a little more gentle with the metallic ones, but it came out beautifully. I added a drop of alcohol ink to the little ball light that I was going to be using because I wanted the color of my crystal ball to be purple, and a single drop of alcohol ink did the trick. Now, these little balls are adaptable. I used just a little dollop of like a glue stick in order to just be able to adjust the light and angle it however I wanted to. And then I also cut out a couple of ghost shapes out of some heavy cardstock and just angled them as well with a dollop of glue so that I could move them around or arrange them. But I wanted to make sure that I backlit whatever shape I chose to illuminate in the crystal ball. And in a moment, you're going to see how it came out. So even when it's not lit up, it's still a really pretty piece, but look how great it looks with that purple dollop of alcohol ink in order to give it a little luminescence. Super happy with this project. So that's just the things I was able to make with my local thrift store pieces, some paint, and just using what was already in my stash. And the best thing is they're all original and they were a ton of fun to make. So thanks again for being with us at SparkofVintage, and we'll see you next week.